Welcome to our web-based unit plan. We encourage you to explore the site so you can check out how we teach the sport of pickleball in a high school physical education classroom.
So we are using a pickleball as a vehicle to explore and engage students in tactical concepts. Our goal for the students is for them to understand how certain concepts can be transferred into other games categories. As teachers, we want to facilitate learning in a fun, challenging, and successful environment. So yes, we are using pickleball as an example. Just a brief overview of what pickleball is. Pickleball is a divided court game where the purpose is to get the ball in the court more often than your opponent. The game is played the outside lines of a badminton court with a paddle and a wiffle ball. The game is played a lot like tennis, but encourages similar movement patterns to badminton and volleyball. And some of the equipment used to teach these types of skills are spot markers, line markers, badminton net, and posts. And then you also need the paddles, mainly a wiffle ball, but for some of this stuff you can use a sponge ball also. So we chose to explore pickleball because the tactical problems that arise in this game are the same types of problems that can be seen in most other games categories. Understanding how these tactical problems work and how they can transfer can allow success in other games categories, so that's why we chose pickleball as a good example.
So we explored different tactical problems, and the 4 different tactical problems we delved into was our time, space, force, and risk. So time, basically, how do you give yourself more time, and how do you decrease your opponent's time? Space, how to hit to space to decrease the opponent's likeliness of responding to your actions, and also how to cover space on the court, which is very, very important in many different types of games, net wall games and territory invasion games. Force, how we can use force as a strategy to challenge opponents and to be more successful with their shots. And also, these 3 different tactical problems guide our 4th one, which is risk, and how we can take risk throughout our matches and in our gameplay so that we're able to have a real fun and exciting game. So on this website, you can check out how we've sequenced our unit to facilitate discovery of these aforementioned tactical problems. So we chose to start our unit based on play. So a lot of these students enter our pickleball unit having no experience with pickleball at all. And so we wanted to give them an experience of what that actually feels like. So our first lesson was a lot based on rallying in a full court, so they get those understanding, and then we can actually address those tactical problems that way. We also then introduced, we felt a sports education model is actually very instrumental in guiding students and promoting them to actually want to be engaged in our lesson. So you can explore a little bit more about that on our page as well. As the unit progresses towards the final team tournament, the sport education model encourages students to work in their teams, noting their personal progress, taking on a role, being assessed and coached by peers. So it's very beneficial, I think. The teacher focuses more on teaching and facilitating learning and less on managing the learning environment. Outline games can be converted into task cards and then used as games to guide team practices and stations and team practices. So I think that we were able to sequence our lessons in a successful way so that the students were able to really understand those tactical problems by the end of our unit.
So by the end of the unit, we expect our students to understand the tactical problems created through their game of pickleball and how they can use these problems to come up with a strategy for them that creates success. Furthermore, we expect our students to understand a variety of strategies and different ways the game can be played based on modifications. By understanding these tactical problems, students will develop a better understanding of other games categories because the problems that arise in pickleball often are the same problems that arise in many other games categories. So if we take the example of the tactical problem space, as we stated in pickleball, where do you hit the ball in relation to your opponent? You want to hit it to their space. That can be transferred into territory invasion game as where do you move in relation to your opponent.
I think that our goal as educators is to give students these tools to be physically active for a lifetime, and by offering them these tactical problems that can be transferable to different games, and also offer modifications and adaptations to these games so that they're more likely to be able to actually experience play when they graduate from high school and hopefully engage in physical activity for a lifetime.